You're listening to the Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe, a podcast of curated conversations with C-suite leaders and those who support organizational growth and development. Get ready for inspiring interviews, educational lessons, and thought-provoking discussions that will challenge you to execute something new and innovative that will drive results in your organization. And now, here's Dr. Taunya Lowe.
Hello. You're listening to episode 006 of the Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe. Using my results-driven philosophy of strategy, leadership, teams, and customer experiences, I help organizations develop their best-kept secret, their human capital. In 2019, I released my second book, Results Driven Organizations, The 4 Keys for a High-Performance Workplace. This podcast is designed to expand the conversation with C-suite leaders and those who support organizational growth and development, and what it really takes to create, develop, and maintain results-driven and high-performing organizations. Today, we're talking about delegation. Leaders must learn to delegate, but there's an art to delegation, and I know it doesn't come easily to many people. Delegation is not just about delegating tasks that you either don't like doing or you're not good at. The key to delegation is balance. The balance between your ability to trust that others will complete the tasks given properly and on time, and making sure that those you delegate to have what they need from you to get the job done right. If you are a control freak, I'm just saying, if you're a control freak, delegation is going to be hard for you. But in order to lead effectively and efficiently, you must give up that control to someone else. It's going to allow both of you to grow. I want to share 3 tips about delegation that I had to learn the hard way, quite honestly. Delegation is critical to leadership, and leaders must delegate to grow more leaders and provide opportunities to others in the organization. Delegation, again, is not about getting rid of the stuff you don't want to do. So as a leader at any level, it's important to learn to delegate, but also learn to think about delegation as a way to create opportunities for people in your organization. Think about delegation as not only time freedom. Think about how to model delegation so that your executives and middle managers are not micromanagers, and begin to experience burnout, because that is what happens when we don't delegate effectively. We experience burnout, we become micromanagers because it's not been modeled for us how to delegate effectively and how to allow people that we work with to gain and earn more trust for bigger and extensive projects. So delegation is a skill that you want to model, not just delegation, but effective delegation for others in your organization. And trust me, I know it can be difficult. So just remember, leaders do the hard stuff. That's a book, and we'll probably talk about that book later. But for now, back to delegation. So I've got 3 steps that you can take to ensure that all the tasks you decide to delegate to others get done when you want and how you want. So the first thing is set out clear expectations for the task to be completed. Now, this can be really hard for some people because we tend to think that people that we're delegating to can read our minds, and they cannot. I remember when I first started working with a virtual team, I thought I was a great communicator, but it really stretched my skill set because I had to be very clear about what I wanted done. I needed to write those down in steps so that I could communicate them to a team that was across the globe so that they could complete things for me and not have to read my mind. Oftentimes when people are right in the office with us, we tend to think, well, didn't you know that's what I wanted? Well, no, because you weren't clear about it. So setting very clear instructions is the most important step and the one that you will have to put the most work into. But doing so will ensure that you get the results that you want. So remember, you're going to do the work on the front end. If you've not been delegating and you want to get into delegating, or you want to model delegating so your middle managers and other executives are delegating appropriately, efficiently, effectively, then you're going to want to do this. So first, you want to outline what it is that needs to be done. Use visuals if necessary. And I know you're probably thinking, who has time for this? But guess what? We're helping people develop a skill. And as a leader, it's your responsibility to do it. So if you were going to get a brand new haircut, you would take several pictures to be sure that your vision was the same as the hairstylist, right? You're on the right page, the hairstylist or the barber. So set this up clearly, leaving nothing to guess at. Depending on the task, you have two choices. One, spell out how the tasks are to be completed. Two, allow for creativity. When we allow for the individual to be creative in completing tasks, when appropriate, of course, we allow them to use their skills, their talents, and their abilities to get things done. And it allows you to see that your way is not the only way. Take a deep breath. I know that's going to be a hard pill to swallow for some of you, but when we allow people on our team and in our organizations to use their creativity, use their skills, their talents, and their abilities, they start to feel like they belong. They start to feel like they belong in an organization. And that is one of the things that delegation can do. Number two, be available to your team when they need you. Make certain that they have your contact information, clear instructions that if there's anything they don't understand, and they should contact you instead of making their own judgment call. Because what that's going to do, it's going to frustrate you, it's going to frustrate them, it's going to delay the project. So make sure that when you're in step one, you let them know, if you get stuck, I am here to help you. Many organizations have this unwritten rule or this unwritten culture that you don't ask questions. And we say it, but it's like, yeah, ask me whenever you need, I'm here. But the culture of the organization is that we don't ask questions, we figure it out. And so when you're delegating, especially when you're delegating for the first time, you want to be available. You want someone on the team to be available to answer questions, to help people get unstuck, to strategize if they need some additional support to move forward with the task that they have been given. So to facilitate this, you'll need to be available to them when they need you. Never simply assume that your tasks are getting completed. Check up on them, but not obsessively, right? Like, we don't want to micromanage. I repeat, we do not micromanage. Delegation is supposed to make your life easier. So you may want to check in and say, Bob, Jane, Sue, Carl, do you need any help? How's it going? I'm here to help you if you need me. And so number three, create as close to a hands-off experience as you can. After one project is done, get together with your team to decide what went well, what went wrong, and how to better facilitate success on the next project. This allows your team to be vulnerable, to share not just the good, but the not so good and the downright ugly. This level of intimacy is necessary for developing more trust among your teams, as well as getting you the time freedom that you need. So this is our lesson on delegation. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Dr. Taunya Lowe, CEO of the Resurgent Group of Metro Atlanta, and I help organizations develop their best kept secret, their human capital. Visit the show notes page to learn more. Grab a copy of Results Driven Organizations, The 4 Keys to a High Performance Workplace, and be sure to grab our special gift for you. Until next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe. Be sure to review the show notes for the resources mentioned, and don't forget to grab your free gift available at freegiftfromtanya.com. Until next time.